Hello and welcome to Priory Park, the home of Macclesfield Rugby Club and the Blues, and this brief introduction to Macclesfield Rugby Club and the history of rugby in Macclesfield. The first record of rugby football being played in Macclesfield dates back to 1874. Games were then organised between Crewe, Congleton and Stockport. In those times, teams consisted of 20 players, until a change in the rugby laws reduced the number to 15. In the season 1876 to 1877, there was a meeting of all footballers, rugby and association, with Macclesfield Cricket Club, which resulted in the amalgamation of the two football clubs, now known as Macclesfield Town Football Club. However, then they played by the laws of the rugby union, their first game being against Leek. The formation of the rugby club, as we know it today, did not take place until nearly half a century later, in 1926. The first game was against Stockport at Grange Road. The season was so successful that by the end of the season, two teams were being turned out every week. In those early years, the club was fairly nomadic, playing many matches on a pitch rented on Congleton Road. But in the 1928-29 season, it gained a more permanent ground at the Cock Inn, Knutsford Road, Hembury. In 1932, the club moved for the first time to Fallybroom, where it played on the fields adjoining Alderley Road, with changing facilities over there somewhere. Club rugby ceased during the Second World War, and sadly 13 members were never to return. The tenancy of Fallybroom could not be continued after the war, but thankfully King's School stepped in to provide playing and changing facilities. The club remained a Wanderers side for the following 4 years, until land was leased off London Road and a clubhouse was built on a ground which became known as the Robin Hood Ground. Our nearest and dearest friends, the Wawas, Wilmslow Rugby Club, were invited for the opening and were soundly beaten as a thank you. It was to be a settled decade for the club until 1960, when our expanding success encouraged the club to a new state-of-the-art ground at Titherington. For the first time in the club's history, it owned its own clubhouse and grounds. There followed 2 decades of continued success and progress. Some weekends fielding 6 adult teams, a veteran side, a colt side, and in the mid-70s, the massively successful mini and junior section. All this expansion was actually constrained by the size of facilities at Titherington. So when, in the late 70s, the Silk Road finally commenced, the club moved for the second time to Fallybroom, to what today is called Priory Park! And here starts another story. The club has had a long and successful history, which is told in many different ways on the club website. Following are some reminiscences from ex-players. Please enjoy.